We are swimming in oceans of love and oceans of abundance. And everything that we want, we already have. It's already right here. I believe that coaching is the most powerful force for change on earth. I believe that success is inevitable if you're willing to do the work in the world and do the work on yourself. Only we don't let ourselves have it. We keep it from ourselves. All the money, wealth, abundance, health, happiness, love, it's all infinitely inside of you, but we keep ourselves from it. We don't let ourselves have it. We need a reason to celebrate. We can't just celebrate for the heck of it. We got to wait for something awesome to happen. It's like, I got to win the lottery first. Then I'll be happy. Or I got to, make $1 million, and then I can be proud of myself. And finally my dad will be proud of me, and then I can be happy. All those rules, all those beliefs, and all kinds of stuck energy and stuck emotions and conditioning totally messes with us. All the things that we want scare us, or at least some of them scare us. So if you think about some of the things that you would most love to have in your life, everything we want is actually right here inside of us, but we still want all the other stuff too, right? We want the car or the house or the spouse or whatever it is, right? We still want those external things, even though everything we need is inside of us. We still want the other stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's another thing too, is it's wrong to want that, especially if you're spiritual. Who here sees themselves as being fairly spiritual or even extremely spiritual? So it's you know what? I'm spiritual, so I don't really need much. I know it's all just the inner stuff, and, I'm not motivated by money. Who in here is just not really that motivated by money? Anybody in here? Okay. I kind of made it like you shouldn't raise your hand, but you did. Some of you did. Awesome. Yeah, actually yesterday I was just leading a one-day mastermind for a lot of my joint venture partners, people who promote me. Actually, a lot of people who you may have heard about me from were here yesterday for a one-day mastermind. A couple of them stayed and are going to be here for most of the time, maybe the whole time. But a couple of them were saying that they aren't motivated by money. And I'm like, you guys are so spiritual. But I'm like, dude, money is so important. It's like the lifeblood of your business. And I was thinking back to a couple of years ago, actually about 2 years ago or so, 2.5 years ago, I used to do some smaller events, and I would make an offer of some sort from stage, and I would be so all torn up about it, and then I'd go to make an offer, and I'm like, you guys probably don't want this, but here it is, but maybe okay. And then maybe a couple people would buy, and then nobody else would buy, and then or nobody would buy. Every now and again, I might do okay with my event and get a few sales or whatever, but and sometimes one time I totally crashed and burned. I felt like I crashed and burned. The truth is, I might have done great, but because I felt like I did so bad, and I was all up in my head about it and stuff, I actually ended up breaking down and crying on stage. I don't know why that's funny. You get on stage and cry. So, and I was just actually a couple nights ago, I was talking to my coach Sarah, and I was telling her, because we were reminiscing about wow, we got lots of people coming to this event, and when she came to my first couple events, we had 30 people. And I was talking about how I finally did this event. There were 38 people in the room. I made an offer for a really high-priced program, and we had 12 people out of 38 sign up for it, which was holy cow, that's a huge breakthrough. But I was still all torn up, and we were using Instant Miracle and Peace Process and all kinds of stuff. This particular topic making offers from stage is something that I've had to work on it's something I have worked on more than anything else that has had so many layers that I needed to work through to heal. But I was thinking about how if I didn't finally crack that code, I don't know if I would have been able to continue doing live events because you can only do so many events where you actually lose money on them. Or maybe you break even, or maybe make just a little bit, but then you think about all the energy that it took to put on the event and all the resources from the team and everything else, and you think, well, Jesus, I did all that and I made $5,000, or whatever. It's like, well, I guess it's not a total loss, but so many other things I could have done, instead. So, money is, I believe that a lot of times we have a shadow. You guys know about shadow stuff, right? We have shadow parts of ourselves, and I think we try to make money not important because it is important, but we don't want it to be important, So I brought that up at my JV mastermind yesterday, and they weren't super receptive to it. I'm like, I'm going to heal you of this. And they're like, no, and they're arguing for why they really feel that money isn't that important and all that stuff. And I'm like, I know you see it that way now. It's because you're screwed up. Let me just heal it and you'll see the light. But they're fighting for their limitations, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all do that sometimes. And I know I didn't, I just came right out and like, hey, you got this thing. I think you're kind of screwed up. So I didn't have good rapport. So, you could have done it a little bit better. But I healed their asses anyway. And then later people came to me like, oh, thanks, man. I feel so much better about that money stuff now. Anyway, I know, we're here because we have all this stuff that blocks us from enjoying. Like today is the best day of my life. Today is the best day of my life because today is the only day that I'm here. Today is the day I'm alive. Right now is the best moment of my life. And every moment that I'm alive. Today is where life is. And you can feel it in the room. Life happens now. So there's things we want, and some of the things we want scare us. We want love, but man, I've had my heart broken before. I don't know if I really want to put myself out there. Or I know I really want to get in a relationship, but in the back of their mind, it's like, oh, that's scary, right? And so if the thing you want scares you, how fast are you going to run towards it? Very fast. Like, so, or money. I've been sharing. So last year I added $1 million to my personal income. Thank you. That was incredible. I also got more and more focused on gratitude. And I felt so much more grateful last year too, and even more so this year. But so which of those things do you think had a greater impact on the quality of my life? The extra $1 million or living much more in a state of gratitude? Gratitude. Who here thinks it was the gratitude? Yes, you're right. Who here thinks it was the money? Yeah. No. Wrong. I'll just keep, tricking you guys into raising your hands and making fun of you. That's my way of getting lots of participation, Win everybody over that way. Worked really well yesterday too. Of course, you know it was the gratitude, but if you could pick right now which you'd rather have, extra gratitude in your life on a consistent basis or an extra $1 million in your bank account, who here feels like you'd probably pick the $1 million? I'll get the gratitude later. And hey, once I have the $1 million, then I'll have a lot to be grateful for. Of course you are grateful because you got all that money. So maybe you want more money, but we also have all kinds of screwed up beliefs and thinking and emotions about money too. Like, oh, I want money. I'd love to be rich. I'd love to have millions of dollars. But, are people going to try to, be constantly asking me for that money? It's going to be weird. I have to have difficult conversations because people want my money and I have to tell them no. Or maybe then I'll get the money and then I'll have to give it to everybody and then I won't have it anymore and then that'll suck. Yeah. And if you live in California and the U.S., it's Uncle Sam that really wants a lot of that money. Phew, man, I can't believe how much money I gave to California and the U.S. government. I'm getting some pity. I appreciate that. Thank you. I know, it was really tough. Man. So, one of the things that used to block me a lot was like, it's not fair for me to be rich when other people aren't. And I just felt all this angst about like making a lot of money and other people don't. Now I realize everybody can be rich. Everybody can have money. Everybody can make money. I used to see that people without money that was like, oh, I felt bad for them. They're poor. I grew up poor. I grew up on welfare, food stamps, special lunch programs, hand-me-downs, and like way out of style hand-me-downs. And yeah, and I was not the popular kid in school. But so I felt bad for people who didn't have money because I felt bad for myself for not having money. I felt ashamed of not having money. I felt like, oh, it's not anybody's fault for being poor. And it's not anyone's fault for being poor, but one of the things that I do know is that everybody can be rich. Everybody can be rich. Everybody can have a great relationship. Everyone can be rich. Everyone can be happy. Everyone can be healthy. And the reason I know is because there's other people that have those things. And if they have it, you can have it. Because you have that same infinite power inside of you that they have. And we think, well, they have advantages. You know what? We all have advantages. Yeah, but I'm disabled. I'm not the right skin color. It's easy for you to say, Christian, you're white and you're a man. I have a friend, one of my best friends has a disability. He's 3 feet tall in a wheelchair. He has osteogenesis imperfecta. He's had over 200 broken bones. And he is a very successful businessman. The people defy the odds. Oprah is a billionaire. Her net worth is $3 billion. She's black and a woman. And if she can do it, you can do it. Seriously, there are no excuses. There are no excuses. We all can have whatever we want. Every single one of us, without exception. So we don't need to feel bad for people who are poor. We need to feel grateful that we're wealthy. And you know what? We're all wealthy. If you're in this room, you are so rich. The richest person on earth is not Bill Gates, although he does have the most money. The richest person on earth is the person with the most gratitude. The person who's the most grateful. And the poorest person is the person with the least gratitude. And I don't mean that you should just be thankful for what you have if you don't have what you want. Be thankful for all that you have. Because you know what? Even when I was poor, I had so much. I was always taken care of. Yeah, I was on welfare, but when I needed clothes, I got hand-me-downs, or I remember on Christmas, I got presents from a stranger I didn't even know. And at the time, I'm like, oh my God, this shit sucks. I want real presents. I want real presents and cool clothes, not this crap. Because I didn't feel cool enough, And I remember one kid when I was in elementary school got these brand new markers, and everybody, he's so popular because everybody was like, oh, look at your new markers. And I never got new markers. So tough. Who else didn't get markers? See? We'll never succeed. We're all rich. We are all so rich. I was rich when I was poor. I just didn't know it. I always had food, even though it was from the food pantry, and it was mac and cheese every night. But what's crazy is I've got 3 kids now, and we have a chef who cooks 3 meals a day, 4 days a week for us, and my kids still want mac and cheese. And they want it every day. What do you want for dinner? Mac and cheese.